Big spring games are set to happen this Saturday. I am going to have my focus a lot of different places. One of them, Columbus, Ohio. So Will Howard transferred in there from Kansas State, right? The quarterback. And I think most people who cover Ohio State, fans of Ohio State, those of us who observe the program, we pretty well penciled in Will Howard's name as starting quarterback. Well, don't do that. Don't do that so fast. Because Julian Sayin transferred up there from Alabama, and the thing about him is he's really good. He's a true freshman, but he's really good. And I still would make Will Howard the betting favorite to be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. And I know it's great for Ryan Day and his staff to have, I think this is more than illusion, but to at least have the illusion of quarterback competition because it lessens the chance that anyone transfers. Yeah, I get all that. I think Sayin could legitimately make a run at being their starting quarterback at some point this year. So will we learn everything we need to this Saturday? No, but it'll be the first time that we've seen either one of them taking snaps up there, and crazier things have happened. That's all I'm saying. So I'm watching that. I am watching Cam Ward down at Miami. I don't know how much they're going to allow him to show of himself, but suffice it to say, like I told you, when I was down there last week, a couple of weeks ago, you watch them, you watch Shannon Dawson with that guy plugged into his offense, and then you juxtapose it to the year before. They had Van Dyke down there. There are just flat out a lot of things they can do now that they couldn't do last year. And I know that you probably can't get a sense of this from reading practice reports, but I promise you I can from being down there. That's his team. No doubt about it. That dude walked in, and it's his team. It's his offense. Everybody's looking towards him. Doesn't matter that he's only been there a brief time. They all get it. Very quickly, everyone got it. So I'm excited to watch him. Bama's got their spring game Saturday. And to be honest with you, I got obviously as much interest as everyone else in seeing how Jalen Milroe looks. I just want to see the quarterback stable. Milroe is presumed to be the starter, but Ty Simpson, we've heard a lot of good things about. Austin Mack, I had a head coach tell me recently who was desperate for quarterbacks in the portal this past cycle. Austin Mack's the one we wanted over everyone. And Austin Mack was with that coaching staff at Washington. And then when Kalen DeBoer and his staff came to Alabama, they brought Austin Mack with them. Austin Mack is he's 6'6", 226. And when you see him, he looks much bigger. He looks like he ought to be playing for Purdue or UConn the other night. Just massive. Makes Milroe look very moderately sized by comparison. And Milroe's a tank. I want to see Austin Mack play as well. Talked to Kalen DeBoer about him the other day on cam and off cam. They think that dude's future is about as bright as anyone there, but he hasn't started. So I'm not trying to build false hype for him. I'm just saying I'd like to see a little bit of him Saturday. DJ Lagway at Florida. Florida's got their spring game coming up. What's the quarterback situation going to look like there? Because Graham Mertz is their starter. Graham Mertz was really good last year, figures to be their starter this year. You remember when Texas had that logjam out there, and they had Quinn Ewers, and they had Arch, and they had Malik Murphy, and then Malik Murphy just popped off in the spring game. And then the talk was, oh, man, I bet everyone's coming after him. And they did. Murphy stayed at Texas for the time being, but he had a ton of offers. Lagway's really good. Now, I don't know how good he's been this spring, but in general, Lagway's really good. He is universally viewed as the future of the program. What does he look like Saturday? Does he have a couple of those wow moments? Because you know good and well there are other folks out there besides invested Florida fans watching the Florida spring game, and if they like what they see, it could only re-energize them to try and back channel their way back into a recruitment that's not supposed to exist but could exist. So I'm interested to see him play down there and how Florida sort of structures that spring game. These are headaches you have to deal with. As a coaching staff, it's just stuff you have on your plate now that didn't used to exist that way. At Penn State, I'm told the weather's been great all week. In classic Penn State fashion, the weather could be terrible Saturday. So I am hoping that forecast doesn't validate, because I would love to see this new offense as much as James Franklin will let us see. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a little bit more tempo. I'd love to see him push the ball down the field. I'd love to see Drew Aller move the launch point and run to the left and run to the right. And I'd love to see all these things. Will we get to see it? I don't know. mechanics-wise, how much better does Aller look last year to this year? Because a lot of those things were issues, and so I don't know, again, what we're going to be able to watch. But if we get a relatively clean game, maybe we learn a little bit. And lastly, at Kentucky, Brock Vandegrift's up there now, and he's with a new offensive coordinator as well because they brought in Bush Hamdan, who was at Boise State, and that's another place that just they look around and say, we need to run more plays. We're not giving ourselves best chance to win. We don't run enough plays. Very rarely do you see defenses in conflict, and we want to change that. So not only did they bring Vandegrift in from Georgia, but they think they've got what it takes to be a more tempo-based offense. It's all they focused on in spring. Again, that's not a guarantee they show a lot of that Saturday, but just Vandegrift being the starting quarterback for someone, that alone is enough to make me watch. LSU's got one Saturday, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Utah, Virginia Tech, Arkansas. I mean, Bobby Petrino's calling plays in Fayetteville, Arkansas Saturday, guys. Like, what else do you want? So it's going to be a very, very busy weekend for us all. How do you not love sports? What else would you do this weekend? Ugh, couldn't be me.